like those classically simple characters, like, from Of Mice and Men, or people who are just, just a little bit like they function normally, but they're just a little slower or a little dimmer, or they don't get the nuances of humor or conversation or things like that. Like, it was fun, actually, for me. I had to write one of those characters not too long ago for my third
biography.
book. Yeah, a biography of you, man.
God damn it. I'm an autobiography.
Got him.
Yeah.
Yes.
The idiot, remember?
Yeah, that's the ping pong smash right back to you.
June 20th. Is that one?
Roundabout there.
Yeah.
21st. Something like
That's the solstice.
The solstice.
It's the best kind of ice.
Soul.
Solst.
Solst ice. It's just water.
Yeah, the next best is just ice.
Batman loves it.
Yep.
Yeah.
It's the only thing he takes in his drinks.
Yes, that was a night court joke.
Oh, man.
Was it really?
It was.
Oh.
Some ghost haunting the courtroom. It's like, what is it? What do you want? And
it's like just ice.
Just ice. Just it.
He just wants just ice.
Yeah.
Don't spit on the microphones, man.
Yeah.
Not again.
Not
Protect the
again.
hardware.
I'm all about protecting my hardware.
Well, sometimes the software too, but
I don't know what that was supposed to be.
I know. She's just like bobbing her head, just like
protect my hardware dance. Yeah.
Oh no,
It's a song in my head.
Yep.
Speaking of idiot characters.
Hi.
Welcome.
Hey guys.
I feel like I'm being directed at me, guys. What? Did you just give me the eyes? She's just like, yeah.
Like,
Math's out.
fair's fair.
Yeah, fair is fair. Calls him like I see it, some balls and strikes, man.
There's a difference between intelligence and wisdom
It's
on a
true.
stat sheet.
I have neither. It's all in Constitution.
Yeah. It's the First Amendment in the Constitution.
I got like 20 constitutions.
Oh, wow. Oh, that's a lot of amendments you got written down there.
No, we didn't amend anything. We got it right the first time. 20. Yeah.
Several. 20 on 3D6.
Oh my god.
Sometimes it's fun to be an idiot. I'm just saying,
Well, that's why we do role playing.
Yeah.
Some of us just are naturals at it, but
Being idiots?
She is
Yeah.
tired of me of role playing an idiot, though.
One day he'll role play a genius.
I'll just put glasses on and be like, quantum physics, centripetal force.
You heard it here first. A genius is just an idiot with glasses on. That's bad news for us. That's why we were looking at you. It's like, no, you just
Come on, join the crowd,
You just don't have the glasses on, so we're not buying it.
You're a all natural idiot.
On that note, welcome to Bards and Balladeers podcast.
Hello.
Yeah, this is the story. This is the story of a man named Brady. This is the podcast about story in all its forms. I am Oscar. I write historical fiction and other things.
I'm Kate. Oh, I'm so sorry.
No,
I'm interrupting.
You done?
No, I'm Kate and I am an author. I write fantasy, sci-fi, and I also enjoy music as a musician.
Yeah. And I'm Rio and I'm tired, but we're doing this fun episode about idiot characters. I write stories. Do I? Yeah. I write
You do.
stories. I
You write stories.
I have ideas. I feel like I have more ideas than I have stories. But that kind of works in the stories.
Pieces enough ideas together and you get stories.
Yeah.
It's true.
You should have more ideas than stories because multiple ideas into a story.
Yeah. Usually if it's coherent, it works out. So
It's a 2 birds, 1 stone kind of situation.
2 birds, 1 stone.
Yeah.
I like that.
And then speaking of 5 birds with 1 stone, our podcast reaches YouTube, Spotify, iTunes, iHeartRadio, and Amazon Music.
Yep.
But also you can find us on Discord where we just, shoot the
Quack.
We lots of fun memes, other discussions more in depth. Hit us up there or in the comments or wherever you consume our podcast with ideas you'd like to see us talk about. Answers to our questions that we ask in a lot of our podcasts.
Sure.
So just reach out. And you can find all of our links in the description below this video, Linktree or website or whatnot. It's all down there. We've got Book Fair for Grown-Ups coming up in about a month or less.
Yeah.
A few weeks again.
Yeah.
So watch for that. And you guys are you good?
We're past Des Moines.
Past Des Moines.
I think Book Fair for Grown-Ups. And then in August, we have
Big Minneapolis anime.
Big Minneapolis anime.
There's also
Minneapolis anime.
A mall event.
Oh, that St. Cloud?
Cloud9.
Yeah. Yep. Mm-hmm.
Yeah, that's in June.
St. Cloud in June. Again, I'm not going to be at that one, but
sure.
you guys keep doing.
See. It's a mall pop-up, so we'll see.
Yeah. I've done those.
Yeah.
I've done them in St. Cloud too. And I had someone reach out not too long ago from one of those and liked my books, wanted to know if I'd be back there for the next thing. But I was like,
where's your third book? That's probably what they're asking.
That's everyone's asking. Yeah. Even I'm asking myself that right now. But that's one reason I'm doing fewer events is to spend more weekends writing.
Good for you.
Yeah.
So,
Us too. Yeah, definitely.
But all that said, this week we are talking about idiot characters.
Yeah.
And as you may have noticed, we're in exactly the right frame of mind for it.
Yeah.
That's right.
But like who wants to talk about what an idiot character is?
I'll do it.
Leave it to the experts.
A lot of times we have, and idiot characters can be defined loosely or more broadly as just anyone that's less intelligent than the primary characters, or doesn't have a good grasp of the situation or society, or just kind of in the outskirts of the intelligence scale. We even have a IQ scale, and usually if you're below 80 you're considered mentally defunct almost.
There's different terms I think imbecile is what these were all technical terms. We're not actually trying to be derogatory.
Right.
But there's imbecile and simpleton or things like that.
Yeah.
And I think these are all retired terms for the cutoffs, but
sure.
But it's been delineated in such ways.
Mm.
Yeah. And there's a purpose to it all, because not all of us are smart or rocket scientists or anything like that. It's the idea that we have these characters who either add a little reality to what we're doing, or just add a variety, or just are a foil for the smart characters. Because you can even think of compared to Doc Brown from Back to the Future, Marty's kind of dumb. He's just a kid in high school, he knows nothing about quantum physics or time travel, but he's caught up in this kind of whole thing, and he's just trying to work his way through this high tech, high sci-fi kind of world that he's found himself in, and situations, and how does he get out of there when he doesn't know the consequences of his actions, Right.
Mm-hmm.
And mostly we are talking about classical intelligence, but we are also, and when we talk about idiot characters, we're not necessarily talking about people who are clever in their own way, but maybe not book smart. We're talking about the characters that you might have at one point called there's a difference between uneducated and slow and simple and actually stupid and delusional. The whole ignorance is bliss thing comes up there, but
sure.
Because denial is another form of being dumb, but it doesn't necessarily come from people we think about as stupid.
Mm-hmm.
Sure.
And so we're going to, touch on all of those, but, we're thinking the classical character who just doesn't have a lot of any of the traditional forms of intelligence. They might be good-hearted.
Sure.
And they might have some kind of basic common sense or something. But Forrest Gump was great.
Yeah.
But most people wouldn't have said that he was really smart or anything.
Right.
I thought we're looking more at that sort of thing.
Yeah. Or Simple Jack from Tropic Thunder.
Yeah. I don't. We won't go too deep into that one. Yeah. But I mean, so why do we talk about why do we come up with this topic? Why do we value characters that aren't really that smart? Why do we include them in our stories? Because we know there are a lot of stories where it seems like everybody's smart, The West Wing, for example.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Even Star Trek too.
Yeah.
Everybody almost has to be because it's shows or stories that are based on like the elite, the cream of the crop.
Right.
Yeah.
There is that one race they ran into. I don't know if it was second season. Next gen. The Pac-Leds, I think is what they're called.
Yeah.
We were like, make it go. It won't go,
Yeah. And they like could understand like how to use technology, but not why it worked.
Yeah, they couldn't make it. They were all just kind of like
scavengers.
Yeah,
right?
they scavenged everything.
But that's, I mean,
it's magic to them.
Yeah. Well, sorry to bring Warhammer 40K back into this, but like it's been
a week. It's fine.
Yeah, it's fine. They don't know how to construct or craft anything. So they actually find like blueprints from old like printers and like construction, like automated factories. And they become like sacred text because they don't know how to create or craft things anymore. So when they go discovering these old like relic past how to make like a vending machine, let's say, it's like something so great, or like a tank would be a more applicable thing because that's now useful. And now the person who has this blueprint for a tank is more powerful because like they have that, but they don't know how to make a tank anymore.
So this was something I didn't know about 40K.
Yeah.
And I kind of like the notion of writing stories in that where like they've got all these examples of Japanese, but they don't understand it. And then they find some instruction manual that's in Japanese and some other language. And they're like, this is our Rosetta Stone, which is like, if you know what the Rosetta Stone was, it was how we finally decrypted Egyptian hieroglyphics.
Yeah.
Because there was a stone with Egyptian hieroglyphics and then a translation into, I don't know if it was Latin or some other like language that we knew, ancient Greek or something like that.
Yeah.
And that unlocked the whole language of Egyptian hieroglyphics. I would love to see a stupid instruction manual on how to put together a chair.
It's IKEA.
Like the Warhammer 40K, like Japanese Rosetta Stone,
Yeah. And it's like, so it's one of those things where like just not knowing how, but able to survive, like they're idiots, but they're surviving, Right. So is that enough? Like, and it's just kind of that interpretation, because we as even writers or human beings, we try to like break down everything into the most like understandable or smallest bite size, or try to understand everything that we can about life and anything that works, like, physics and science or whatever. But there's something to be said about like these characters who just live life, that just want to exist and are happy just doing, again, ignorance is bliss, but that there's nothing wrong with living that life. That's normal. That's, but we are sometimes not satisfied with that.
Right. Because we are inhabiting our own skin, and it's hard to step outside of that and just identify with being one of those people who's just happy living their life.
Yeah.
Or they don't even have to be happy.
Content.
Or that's just what they do.
Yeah.
That's normal. Like their internal monologue is a blank slate,
Sure.
Or it completely mirrors what it is that they're doing.
Yeah.
Who knows?
Or like what you say all the time, magic in the mundane, and it's true. And I mean, I think we need to find that more, but for some people, that's their standard of being.
Simplicity.
Yeah.
Right. It's not complicated. They don't want to make it anything more complicated than it needs to be. One, maybe because they don't have the capacity to, but also because they just might not want to.
Yeah.
And where maybe the main thing they're looking forward to that day is dinner.
Yeah.
Like that's a very normal experience for a lot of people. And we're not necessarily talking about like average intelligence people, because that they're not idiots. Like we're talking like below average and like general pot of intelligences, maybe not spatially or physically, but, cognitively.
Like, for example, like Forrest Gump really isn't thinking much past his next like step,
And he's very present.
Yeah. That's a good way of putting it.
And he's never really analyzing his feelings, but he's always letting himself feel them. And it's like, I just felt like going for a run. When Jenny like left in the middle of the first thing in the morning or something, he just felt like going for a run. He knew he felt a thing and that he'd feel better if he acted on it, and that there was nothing wrong with it. So he did it
and kept on doing it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And it wasn't, he didn't sit there. It wasn't the result of some long analysis.
Right.
Just like, I have this feeling in my body that wants out.
The reactionary, the thing, like it's almost like an amoeba, like reacting to stimulus, like almost.
And in humans, it's really rare and probably somewhat unrealistic that if you just act on your impulses,
everything will be okay.
You will do the right thing all the
Sure.
time. So clearly there's some indication of some kind of wisdom there, maybe that maybe he has other impulses, but he knows that they're wrong to act on that way or something.
Well, his mom was very moral. I think that was, I think she was Christian. I think
she's, in the South in like the middle of the century, probably Christian.
Right.
So I think that drove a little bit of what he saw the world as, and like always trying to do good, even though like, be kind to people. I was like, okay. Right. And then it stuck with him and he just did that, you know?
Right.
There's a line from Firefly from the movie Serenity, which I always liked, with Jane saying, Shepherd Book, he said a thing to me once that not everyone can do a smart thing, but everyone can do a right thing.
Sure.
I love Jane.
Yeah.
I really do.
It's like, look at this cool hat I got.
Just such a simple, straightforward character, sharp shooter, and sometimes those characters are just, he's not wholesome. That's not the word that I would describe him with, and
he's not particularly bright.
Right. No, he's not. But he's just, there's not much depth to him. And sometimes that's nice to have in a character. It's refreshing.
Right. And he does think he's the hero in his own story, which the actor said that's how he played him,
Yeah. That's hilarious.
Very self-centered, because that's where the mind truly is for that character.
And his morality is like, it's not really there as much. I think that improves throughout the show.
Yeah.
Because he learns a valuable lesson.
Yeah.
A very painful, valuable lesson about betrayal.
Right. And talking about like militaristic people or like soldiers and stuff like that. And this is not disparaging against any like of our armed forces and everything, but sometimes it takes like someone who doesn't question and someone who would just follow orders, and that will do it to make the best soldiers. Like you want those people on the ground on the boots to not think too much, right? And just do what they've been told.
Great executors.
I think that was the implication of Forrest Gump as a soldier. It's like, damn it, Gump, that is the best answer I've ever heard. Because you told me so. Because you told me to, drill sergeant.
Yeah, that was great. But it's just like, because it's almost these people, like, again, these people who can react to their environment like very quickly are some of the best like people who can survive if they were in the wilds or if they were doing anything that they need to survive through, because like you don't have time to think about how to do the right thing. You just need to do and react. And some people have like good impulse reaction, but don't think too far ahead, like you said.
Right. Yeah. Like more present. And there again, every benefit has a drawback. That's not entirely true, but like there can be a cost to being like unable to really to really think in detail about the future or the past. Like, if you're in the present, like there's pre-mental and and trans-mental ways of being in the present. Pre-mental is like you don't have the mental structure to like abstract into the future or dwell on the past. Transmental is like, the past is felt in the current moment as memory, and the future is in the present as anticipation, but you're able to overcome those pulls and still live in the present.
Sure.
So you've transcended the distinctions. You can make the distinctions, which is not true of pre-mental, but you can transcend them. So that's post, like kind of transmental.
Interesting.
And they're both confused with each other at first blush because they both look like mentality and logic or whatever. The mind is not central to either one. So people confuse them all the time.
Gotcha. Interesting. I've never heard that. Yeah.
Yeah. It's a very Ken Wilber sort of thing. He wrote the thing called the pre-trans fallacy, where pre-X structures and post-X structures both appear the same at first blush because they're both non-X in how they're centered.
Sure.
So like pre-conventional, post-conventional, they all think they're on the same side.
Yeah,
they're not.
For sure. Yeah, well,
they're not.
And I think a part of that too, might be similar, might be separate, but I think hesitation is a form of, maybe that anticipation, that future, one of like, if I do this, what will happen, instead of just focusing on doing the thing.
That's a very mental consideration. And, fear can be kind of primal and like, like below the level of mind. But so a lot of fears are the result of like mental analysis. And if you're not doing the mental analysis, you don't have the fear. You know, there may be other fears in there, but like you don't have the crippling fears that maybe come specifically from mental analysis.
Yeah. Overthinking. Yeah. Definitely is a killer at times.
Overthinking and second guessing too. Like you're trusting the fear more than your own, you know, confidence or more than your own,
because you're like, what if this happens?
Yeah.
It's like, but it probably won't. If like every like thing leads that says that it's not going to happen. Why? I mean, prepare for the worst, or was it expect the best, prepare for the worst kind of thing? Like, why waste your time on like doing this stuff?
It's risk analysis, right?
I think again, idiot characters just don't have that functionality. Again, I say idiot, it sounds very harsh and everything.
Yeah, we like this is how we thought of the episode, but we're not meaning like you're all idiots. You know,
it's like you can't tie your shoes.
Yeah, it sounds really derogatory, and we just mean kind of like less than smart, like below average intelligence, or you know, mental capability.
I don't want to say they experience life different because actually I don't know. I don't even know how you guys experience life at times. You know, but you might have a completely different perception of life than I do. But I feel like as you get lower on any kind of like conscious level and experience that, like what happens in life doesn't affect them as much and everything. And I think as you get lower in intelligence, you don't have those capacities. But it's almost like, so if something bad happens to them, it actually isn't that devastating, you know?
It's that sort of thing of like, if you haven't grown into like developmental consciousness, like conscious development goes in stages and each stage comes with different needs and different tools.
Sure.
If you don't have access to the tools, you're not going to misuse them either. If you don't have access to that realm of knowledge and perspective, the things that happen on that realm, you don't feel as immediately. Like, it doesn't mean you don't feel them because they can affect you kind of, you know, like, well, you might not understand economics, but economic issues can make your physical life harder and you just don't understand them. But you're not sitting there worrying about the economics. You're worrying about like, I'm homeless.
Right.
You know,
how do I buy a sandwich? You know,
right.
So with that.
And I think a good example too, Rio, you said that like characters that have bad things happen to them, but they might not like really get the impact or the weight of that thing that happened to them, kind of the homeless thing. Perito from Puss in Boots.
I love me Perito.
He is such a wonderful character, especially because the whole movie, it's the second Puss in Boots movie. It's the
Last Wish.
Last Wish. And it's a movie that really, it helps adults deal with anxiety of the finiteness of life in a way.
Yeah.
And, you know, as we get older, like we talked about this in the elderly episode, that fears change as you grow and they develop in ways like for the worse and sometimes for the better. But Perito is an example of like some bad things happen to him, but he still maintains his happiness. And he's a very simple character that he's just enjoying life.
Always positive.
Always positive. Gratitude is very strong in Perito. And I feel like that's something that's he has to be a simple character or an idiot character in a way, because I mean, I feel like the higher your intelligence gets, the more you have to fight for gratitude.
Sure.
And it's not to say that it's not something like worth doing, or that just because there's like an idiot character that has more capacity to have that gratitude, it's not like a bad thing or anything. But I just think that in that movie, he's a wonderful foil to Puss in Boots because he's going through something really, really scary. Like he's at his last life. And hopefully that's not too much of a spoiler.
No. It's one of those things where like, well, everybody except cats and the whole like, you know, mythology of cats, like the cats have 9 lives. It's only because they seem to be able to survive anything, you know, so they must have multiple lives. Otherwise, how are they surviving these falls or whatever? But Perito, he doesn't know. He only has 1 life. Not that it affects him, and he just keeps living life trying to be happy. Like, you know, he literally says at one point, it's just like, yeah, me and my brothers used to play this game, and they put me in a sock and they threw me in the river, and it was so fun, and they never found me. Like, and he's just
and he still wears the sock.
Yeah,
like it's so dark.
And look, I got a free sweater or whatever he says like that.
And it's so wonderful.
But he's just positive.
Yeah. And it's almost like you have to be, no, you don't have to be a simple character. It's just different ways of doing it.
It helps.
Yeah.
It's a normal way of being if you're a simple character.
Yeah.
Like, I mean, there's normal ways to be a simple character and also miserable all the time too.
Sure.
Because you don't understand your suffering.
Mm-hmm.
And maybe you don't understand your gratitude when you're on the other side and you're happy about things.
And maybe victimizing yourself too, which it happens and then you could perpetuate it.
I'm going to say something kind of controversial and people are going to get mad at me. Like, kids are idiots. Like, in the most basic sense and everything. And it's because they just don't know. And
they're inexperienced, uneducated. Like, they're still building their minds.
Right.
Yes.
So I just finished watching Alien Earth. It's like the aliens world, xenomorph stuff like that. Okay. But it's a TV show and it's about like there's a bunch of corporations that actually control the world in that mythos. And Weyland-Yutani is one of them. And they were actually getting some of all these aliens from around the galaxy, whatever. It's not just the xenomorphs. They got some other ones, like they got this Oculus one that will replace your eye and take over your body. It's crazy. But they were working, one of the opposite corporations was working on transferring consciousness from people to synthetics and everything. But they were testing on kids. So these kids would basically die. They would copy their brains into these full-size adults. So you had these full-size adults acting like kids. And it was like the acting was fantastic. I loved it for this reason. Like there's this one guy who acted like a 6-year-old kid, but he was a full grown man. Like, and it's just like, but their perception, how they like figured their way through the world was so much different than what an adult, like what we would perceive as adult going through that, they seemed like dumb because of it, because they're just like, I just want to play in the dirt,
okay. Yeah. And they walk away.
Yeah,
nothing more than that.
Yeah. So it's kind of interesting where like they're not idiots.
It's kind of simple, kind of like Lenny.
Yeah. Right.
Lenny, Mice and Men.
Hey guys, hope you're enjoying the podcast. Don't forget to like, comment, share, and subscribe to all of our videos. And then most importantly, don't forget to click on the notification bell to stay up to date with all of our podcasts.
Like those classically simple characters, like, of Mice and Men or people who are just a little bit like they function normally, but they're just a little slower or a little dimmer, or they don't get the nuances of humor or conversation or things like that. Like, it was fun actually for me. I had to write one of those characters not too long ago for my third
biography.
Yeah, a biography of you, man.
God damn it. I'm an autobiography.
Got him.
Yeah.
Yes.
The idiot, remember?
Yeah, that's the ping pong smash right back to you. I was writing my third book and there's this jailer, and he's like a nothing character. He's just filling a spot, but you still want to make him a character. I'm like, okay, who would be trusted to be a jailer on this ship? You want someone who's not curious enough to sort of monitor the people he works for, like, because he works for kind of bad people. So they want someone who's like dumb, not unobservant in like the physical way where he's going to not notice prisoners escaped, but where he's not aware of like social nuances. So he's not picking up on what they're doing. And he was going to be okay with menial tasks. Maybe he doesn't have to be happy. He just has to do it. And so he's looking after prisoners, and, there's this very witty, intelligent prisoner who we all know by this point, but I'm not going to name him. And he just keeps observing that this guy, like, he has no imagination. He just calls him filth every day because presumably he can't come up with a new derogatory name.
Sure.
And, he's like, you can see at one point in his mind, he's warring with like, trying to be intimidating, but also trying to imagine what might scare this person. And like having these different feelings and trying to imagine just makes him annoyed and angry. It's like, oh, I'm having to imagine things. I'm just going to give up and call you a name again and then leave.
I win.
It's kind of fun to write the guy, even though I'm pretty much done writing the guy at this point. But yeah, it can be fulfilling just for like little stints.
Yeah.
I've not had to write like at length for a character like that. I've not, I've played like characters who were like lower than average intelligence in role playing. I'm not saying I did it well. This was a long time ago.
Just too smart.
I don't know how to. Sorry, I don't know how to be that dumb, which makes me smart. Yeah, it's because I'm wearing glasses.
Yeah. To cover up my dumbness.
Yeah.
I didn't get the memo.
I've only written, I think, 2 characters that fit this category. One was in Valkas of the Greater Wilds. I'm going to consider Hugo one of those characters. Or Valkas and Hugo's Rise in Wonders and Dragons, which was a collaboration between Ray and I. And he kind of fits the himbo category.
Yeah, definitely.
Which is like beefcake guy, not very smart, kind of pretty. Very capable. Yeah. Kind of Jane, if he was prettier, he'd be considered like a himbo, just to try to help help you understand like what that concept is. And so he was just a very simple character, but Avalee, the main character of Valkas of the Greater Wilds, she needed somebody to be part of this crew that was going out and traveling through the wilds of Nivold, that was purely on her side. Like she wanted somebody that would have her back and wasn't there for the interest of the expedition. And so Hugo just kind of came, I don't know, he just came out of nowhere. And he works, he's a very manual labor type character. He likes knives and that's it. Like there's not much to him.
He's not afraid of stuff either.
Yes.
He even gets to with some of the smarter races in there. He kind of belittles them as they're called Sukwa, but they doesn't know the names. So he calls them Bird. Yeah. Hey Bird, what's going on? Just kind of.
He doesn't make it more complicated than it needs to be.
Yeah.
And it's kind of refreshing to get to write a character like that. Yeah. And he's a lot of fun too. And so there's him, and then another character of mine that I've talked about him before. His name is Veriseth, and one of my favorite characters of all time. But he's a character that has low intelligence but high wisdom. One, just because he has to continually learn to survive, but he doesn't have to learn to associate with people. He doesn't have to be smart that way.
Has to be instinctually smart.
Yes. Right? Yes. And because he's a hunter type, stealth archer archetype, right? And so I think it's fun writing characters like that, again, because they just have simple agendas. There's not too much depth to them, but they're sort of like what's the phrase, ride or die?
Sure, yeah.
They're willing to go on any journey just because it's something to do.
Trust,
yeah.
Yes.
Writing that can be taking a vacation from the complex characters.
Yeah.
It's sort of I'm going to go up to the cabin in my mind now.
Yes. Which is probably one reason I love writing them, just because they're just, it's comfort writing.
Right. You don't have to think too much about what their motivations are. What would they do in this situation? Well, they would fight. That's
right. He would shoot his arrow, shoot his bow. Yeah.
Maboo.
It's how do I deal with obstacles when I don't have the mental acuity to conquer them with, trickery or manipulation or diplomacy or whatever? I'll just beat it down.
Right. You know what's great about some of these characters too, though, is that you'll have these characters who will do stuff that will be reckless or that will get them in trouble, but they're okay with that consequence because they'll just I just got to figure my way through this one too, you know? And it's just we'll power through this as well.
It sounds like my old cat Chai. He's he'd go after the people food in plain view. And you just decided, no, I'm going to get wet. That's fine.
Yeah.
I remember my mom, you see the simple classification of unintelligent in animals a lot,
sure.
They're simple. They're underdeveloped in terms of human mind, obviously. And that's not even true necessarily of all animals. But yeah, when he was a kitten, I was away on a trip to Turkey and he was still a kitten, and with my cat Willow and Lola were there too. But anyway, he was 9 weeks old and my mom's looking after him, and he'd get up on her lap and go after her cereal, and so she'd put him down on the floor, and then he learned, and so he'd go to the chair on the other side of the table and creep up onto the table and sneak very slowly across the table directly in front of her.
Yeah. If I go slow, she won't see me.
Yeah, he just doesn't understand stealth yet. And I think he eventually learned, okay, I'm not stealthy. I have to be fast. And that was him for the next 20 years.
That's
high
hilarious.
wisdom, low intelligence.
And high dexterity because
Yes.
he got really fast at stealing food.
Oh, that's so funny. I love that.
Now you say that, it's like, I'm trying to think, is like, do idiot characters learn better from consequences, or do they learn better from like what? Like what is their mode of like learning? Like
I think it
Positive
depends on
reinforcement. Sorry.
I think it depends on the kind of consequences. If they're
Sure.
mental consequences, then they're like not really. Then those, if it's like higher mental stuff, and they're not really up to that. They're not necessarily trained by that.
Right.
Sure.
But if they're very physical beings and the consequences are physical, they might actually learn more easily than some
Right.
people would. Because
So like scolding versus
Being
lashing. Yeah.
Yeah, right, yeah.
right. Or
Right.
even scolding will work on a lot of people like that. But like, we're gonna dock your allowance.
Oh, sure.
Like,
Yeah. Okay.
whatever.
Mhm.
And so I think that you see just different gradations of punishments working on different stages of mental development.
Sure, yeah.
Mm.
Yeah, because like when you get a bit adult, monetary works very well. Like, it's just like
It's true.
Well, it also goes to what you said about, just gratitude in like animals and stuff. Their whole world is about food and survival and
Sure.
shelter and safety. So if you give them all those things, they love you.
yeah.
Mm.
Yeah.
And it's a very simple agenda. And you see certain people who are very like simple minded who act very similarly. And it's kind of endearing in a way.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. When I was thinking of, we've talked about like Deadpool before and everything, and the whole like being silly for silly's sake and everything. And it's like, again, I'm not sure if this fits in that classic idiot character, but it's just like he's purposefully idiotic to either like that's how he likes to live, or that's how he gets people to like be off center a little bit and then take advantage of that. But like his ability to break the fourth wall is also for our like enjoyment, and he makes him being stupid even funnier. Like, like we get to see a little bit inside of what he's thinking that we normally wouldn't unless we're reading a book or something like that, So with movies and some of that, it's very much a tactic to make this idiocy of it all funnier or like prevalent, in the story.
I also think that Deadpool is a good example of, and we haven't touched on this, and we're probably not going to go too far into it, but the idiot in disguise sort of trope.
Yeah.
Because like Wade is very smart. Like he's
Yes.
a very like intelligent person, like strategic, like problem solver smart. And, that is a unique thing too. So maybe not necessarily like Professor Xavier level
Sure.
intelligence or, actually like genius level intelligence. But he is that soldier smart. He is that like he's capable of making a plan. Might not be a very like complex plan. But I do think that his smart mouth is almost like a cover up or part of the
Sure,
disguise, like you said, to get people to like dismiss him.
Yeah.
And then in comes the attack, or in comes,
Right.
whatever. So I do think that like idiot in disguise, like trope is also just super fun.
I
Like
like
it can
it.
be fun.
Because I know in Final Fantasy VI, which was the last Final Fantasy on the Super Nintendo video game, there is a jester kind of character who acts stupid and acts like jester and just kind of like is there for as a second hand to one of the main antagonists until he's not the idiot anymore. And then he becomes like, he's been planning all this stuff all along, but he's also just like crazy, So like madness, maybe, and this is a different topic, but that madness can make you do stupid things or crazy things but in a way that's beneficial to yourself. Like you become very like self-gratifying in that respect, but he acts like an idiot to get people to like not take him seriously until he needs to benefit from that. Right. Yeah.
It's kind of a little bit, like a different take on like Vash from Trigon.
Sure.
Oh,
Where
yeah.
he acts like a complete idiot, and you're like, he's somehow dodging all of those bullets.
Yeah.
But yeah, like the smart person in idiot disguise, like that can always be fun. But as far as like, actual idiot characters, I think another reason to have them in stories is that, half the people are below average.
Meaning just in the world?
Just in the world, you know, for realism. And, you know, think of what's average intelligence. Half the people are below that. I mean, at least that would be the definition of median. That's
sure
to get into to be pedantic.
Like C is average, and getting a C in school is okay. Like, you know, for some people, like,
and sometimes we're talking about just D students.
Sure.
Know? And like, you know, and maybe that's just one kind of intelligence too. But yeah, like people have interactions with people who are kind of dumb sometimes. Yeah. Or maybe they're socially dumb and cognitively smart, or the opposite, or neither. And we have those interactions all the time, and it's not constant, you know, but because someone can be like less intelligent than average and have that not even be noticeable.
Sure. Yeah.
But it's when it's noticeable, like that's just part of life. So that's a reason to have them in there for character interaction and realism. Like, what are some good reasons to have them in there for like plot or world building? Like, I'm thinking of Dumbledore's sister.
Oh yeah.
Dumbledore's a sister?
Yeah. She's kind of simple.
Okay.
And she like died in a sort of like when he was having a little fight with, what's his name? I forget the other
Voldemort
wizard guy.
Snape?
No, I forget the name.
Gandalf?
But, like someone you knew in high school. Shut up. Is it Gandalf?
I honestly forgot about her, and I forgot all about that. But yeah, why is it necessary for a story? One, like I personally like the concept of having diverse minds in your story, or in stories in general, just because they can act as foils. Wow, I was struggling with that. Yeah. Foils to other characters. And then also, I think they sort of ground us in reality. Like you were saying, like half the people on the planet is like average or below or whatever.
Yeah. Right.
And without those ranges, without having a range of characters,
no texture.
Yeah. And then all the smart people are then just all smart, and like none of them are special because of their
If everyone is smart, then no one is smart.
Yeah. And so that's one reason why I like having them, and also because I'm not gonna lie, sometimes having idiot characters or simple characters, it's fun. It just is.
It's a fun flavor, even if you don't need it. Like, and I was thinking too, but like, you know, that's character reasons, but like for plot, you know, like Dumbledore's sister, her death drives certain parts of like his development, and that becomes relevant to the plot, like even in small ways, but like these things all can become part of plot. Like, for example, like of Mice and Men, like protecting a simple character or something like that. Like they're not just there for realism and as foils. The whole plot can center around protecting a character like that, or helping a character like that.
Right.
Flowers for Algernon, you know, like the whole thing is about this character.
Yeah.
Forrest Gump. Again, like even if it's not like the main character, like what are some plot reasons to have them in? What are some world building reasons? Like, are there whole populations of simple characters? Or, you know, like we were talking about, you know, a while ago when we were talking about this, like, you know, when you keep the masses uneducated and entertained, you know, bred in circuses, like,
sure.
What do they become like? Do they, you know, like it's sort of like the regression of people.
Right.
And is there a reason to do that for world building? Is, you know, like, are there different places we see that? In other properties and such.
If you ever seen Idiocracy,
oh my god,
haven't yet.
Yeah.
Oh, wow.
It'll make you depressed watching it now.
I'll still watch it. I have respect.
No, definitely you should see it because it's you could believe it now. Like before, it was like this is just stupid and silly, but now it's like, oh, we're going painful. That direction. Like you know, but it's probably good that we are actually talking and discuss this for. Not just for our own benefit, because hopefully other people will see this and they'll like just spark some kind of like just need or want to like delve into any of these subjects, because when we don't think about these things in some respect, like again, you don't have to be super knowledgeable, you don't have to like do these super deep dives and everything, but you should think about some of these things, because we all have thoughts and everything, and however that affects you or however you can better understand that is always a good thing. Like that. And that should be, for me, I feel like that should be a standard just to understand a little better. Not maybe fully, but just a little better, you know? And that's what I want.
Just like, tip of the iceberg type stuff. Just, think about it a little bit and, maybe later a little bit more.
Yeah. Sure. And just to be curious,
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
And I think actually talking about idiot characters and everything, I think their curiosity sometimes trumps anything that like anybody else would, because we get bored again, like people who think too much or like nothing surprises them or nothing is exciting. But like the idiot characters see that beauty in life still, like, and they always will, because everything is a wonderful experience to them sometimes, like Perrito, going back to him for a little bit. But like, I think if you use characters in that respects to show just kind of what we miss, is a wonderful way to use idiot characters.
I agree, because I think that their curiosity is actually more of like a wonder or an awe.
Yeah.
And I think that is something that when you do reach, like the higher your intelligence goes, I think the more of an agenda there is behind your curiosity, and more of an intention or almost like a demand with that curiosity. And I think that will have its purpose, but I think that the simpler wonder is more of a, like, I just had a word for it too. And I forget where I was. The word for it. Pure. Mm-hmm. It's just a pure like curiosity. And there's just something so freeing about it too.
Sort of like untainted by the complexity of the modern world.
Yeah.
That's fair.
I think, you see that a lot with depictions of other cultures, and these depictions aren't always sensitive, but if you're talking like, tribal, like, like the old tribes that are like still in the Amazon or in Africa or something. And, you can, go on and on about all of these academic first world problems, and they'll just be like, no, here's what is.
Yeah.
And we have a lot of, like, sometimes, like the term first world problems comes about for a reason,
right?
Like, oh, these are the things that rich people worry about.
Right.
And there can be problems that are so abstract, so removed from reality, because there's so many layers of mental abstraction that sometimes the only people who can see it clearly are the people who aren't so far removed from reality.
Yeah.
And that can be really interesting, not just as a counterpoint, but as a whole, like, set of solutions in a story, and it can come even from world building. Like, it can be a whole population that's just like, this is not going to work because of these simple basic reasons. Like, your whole magical economy doesn't work if you don't actually produce anything.
Right. Sure, yeah.
It's like, okay, all of your stuff. Okay. You've got all these financial services, for example, but if you all stop growing food, you're doomed.
Yeah.
It's true.
It's like, what are the basic issues we all have to eat?
It's a good point, because one of the reasons why I have Veriseth, one of my characters, as kind of like this idiot character, he's also completely like dumb or ignorant when it comes to the magic system. Like, he doesn't care.
Yeah.
He's not interested.
Yeah. It's a form of uneducated, which I didn't mean to imply that these other cultures are stupid. They're uneducated in certain things that don't really relate to them. Yeah. They don't have access to.
And so then because of that, those systems that require those levels of education have no power over them too.
Right.
And that's very true with Veriseth. Like, that's the whole, conflict of the main series, is that, what was the topic that we just talked about last week? The structures, not last week, a couple weeks ago. Institutions. Yes. Yeah. So the institution that is causing the conflict of this world, then it has no power over Veriseth. And so that makes him a very, I would say, powerful character. I use that word very kind of lightly, because one, he is like physically like powerful, but also like mentally, his willpower is also just as high as the other people with access to this magic system.
I hate to compare this to like Star Wars a little bit, but like, he's almost like the Han Solo,
right?
Yeah.
Yes, absolutely.
He doesn't believe in the Force, right?
Right.
He doesn't,
and he doesn't want it. Yeah.
And you live your life without making room for it. It's just like, okay, I'm going to do this. I'm going to do things my way. And, trust in that.
Yep.
I don't need to hope to the Force or count on the Force or whatever. And it's funny. Like, I remember, to get serious too much, but after 9/11, there were all these, it really was.
I was going to be like 9/11.
Yeah, totally 9/11. there are a lot of narratives about, like the threat to like the end of the world. And it's like, there were some other analyses that were saying, well, the people saying this, they're defining our world as our financial or like our economic realities are like first world.
Mm-hmm.
And the threats actually at that time were not to like people's worlds who don't have that going on.
Mm-hmm.
And like, I can't get into the details because it was a really long time ago, but I remember just thinking like, yeah, like if you define your world a certain way, then threats to that are taken seriously. But other people don't necessarily have the same definition of like what their survival depends upon, you know? And when you develop certain systems and ways of living, you become vulnerable to threats to those systems. Other people aren't necessarily affected by that. They're affected by other things. And that's not about being idiots or whatever. It's kind of the same thing of like the realms that you don't operate in, don't generally pose a threat when they're gone, you know? And that doesn't mean like, they don't exist or that they can't affect you through some other form of causation. But, if you're just, like the biosphere is going to be generally unaffected by the disappearance of the noosphere or the mental sphere. But it would be very affected by the disappearance of the physiosphere, which is like the physical bodies that, because it's like physical, biological, mental, and anything beyond that you can argue about. But yeah,
I want to let me bring it back to those idiot characters again for a second, because like, as I was thinking about this, I have a theory and I'll see what you guys think. I think that idiot characters are a bit of mirrors to the other, let's say, normal characters and everything, because let's say you have an idiot character. Let's say you have a normal character who does something bad or really bad, but you have a idiot character who does the bad thing, but it's to like almost like an extreme in it, or especially when they don't see the consequences of doing the bad thing.
Right.
You can see that it's almost amplified in those idiot characters because they have no consequence and they don't have no remorse, or they have no like objective like reality to those actions that they're taking. So I think having idiot characters can be useful. You can useful idiot. You can have them be useful for when you're trying to show when something is actually bad, and maybe the normal characters don't see it.
My old yoga teacher said like there's an exercise to relieve tension in your shoulders. Deliberately tense them up as much as you can and then suddenly release. Because sometimes to notice the tension you're already carrying, you have to increase it, which is kind of what you're talking about. This is like exemplifying it even worse. It's amplifying, it's making it more obvious. And that makes it easier to maybe let go of.
Fair enough. Like
it's true.
And I do want to end on one for my final thought I want to end on was like one of the things through comedy that we do for idiots and everything is like jokes, and I always think of blonde jokes, and that there was a whole like in the 90s like a whole thing revolving. Everybody's trying to think of a better blonde joke than everybody else and everything, and it was targeted against blonde people, and not everybody's dumb, but for some reason maybe they had a higher percentage of idiot characters, like so it can be used in comedy, idiocracy.
That's true.
Final thought for me, like when I think about idiot characters, one of the properties that comes to my mind is Blackadder, which is Rowan Atkinson, and there's his servant Baldric. There's a second season episode where he's trying to talk to him about it's an exploration episode, and he's like, this guy brought back potatoes, and he's trying to make the point of like it's not just a potato to him. It's like this wine, women, or it's wine, country estates, and as many girls as his tongue can cope with. Whatever. That's what he said. But he asked his servant like, "What is this?" And the servant's like, "I'm surprised you've forgotten, my lord." And he's like, "I haven't forgotten. It's a rhetorical question." And the guy's like, "Nah, it's a potato." One of the best interactions with idiot characters. And it's a long-running, seasons-long idiot character. I'm like, yes, that is what I want.
That is great.
Yeah, bravo.
Yes. And I mean, just adding to that, my final thought is that even though, in real life, sometimes idiots, I'm using air quotes for those who are just listening, can sometimes be like frustrating or annoying, or, it's hard to have patience with them sometimes. But in story, I think there can be such like a benefit to having them in your stories, because it adds such a depth that you might not have. And it might add to the suspended belief, believe it or not. Like it makes it more realistic, makes it more like real life, which is realistic. That was redundant, but yes. So that's my last thought.
Yeah, for sure. Yeah, I think that we all pretty much agree on that one.
Mm-hmm.
Realism and they drive a lot in anything character driven as well. They they enhance the world building. They do change storytelling. You know, especially when they're a point of view character.
Oh, true.
So with that, I mean, I feel like there's more we could go into, but let us know in the comments or on Discord if you'd like to see us delve into this topic more. If there's areas of it you feel like we didn't get to, or things you feel like there's more we could drain out of this, let us know. And but for now, I think we've kind of covered it. We are Bards and Balladeers. I'm Usger.
I'm Kate.
I'm Rio.
Have a good night.
Bye.
See you guys later.